This is the P-33 missile pistol, or the pistol for short. It isn't your ordinary secondary weapon that you pull out because it's faster than reloading your primary. Oh, no, no. What it does is one-shot hogs to the eye, drop gunship patrols 4 at a time, explode bile titans, and give harvesters a rocket-propelled hip replacement. Things that are normally supposed to need a heavy support weapon. Once you see what it actually compares to and what its full potential looks like, I think you'll agree that it might be the best thing we've gotten in our secondary slot in a bit. To get you acquainted with the pistol, let's start with the basics. The pistol is a secondary weapon that fires a single guided missile that deals a hefty amount of damage for its size. With 1000 ballistic damage that comes with AP5 and 300 explosive damage, most things it hits are either going to die outright or be on the verge of dying. The AP5 of the projectile itself makes it a powerful pocket-sized anti-tank weapon that can actually play in the big leads with the recoilless and the spear. It comes with a reserve of 3, giving you a total capacity of 4 shots. As we'll see in the breakpoint section of the video, these 4 shots can be more than enough to bring down over 80% of the enemies in the game. The pistol also has 2 modes to it. The default mode it starts in is the guided mode, where it will try to lock on to medium-sized and larger targets, seeking them out once fired. The guided mode has a 100 meter acquisition range, so anything outside of this distance can't be tracked and therefore you won't be able to fire the weapon. In these situations, you can change your mode to unguided, which removes the ability to lock onto targets, but lets you dumbfire the weapon. In this mode, it is pinpoint accurate and has a maximum distance of 200 meters before it explodes midair. Knowing when to swap between guided and unguided is where you get the most value from the pistol. Having high damage, AP5, pinpoint accuracy, and a guided mode means this weapon overlaps its functionality with some of our heavy support weapons, namely the aforementioned recoilless rifle and the spear. In fact, once you lay the numbers down and compare it side by side, you realize that this weapon is essentially having an extra support weapon in your pocket. Here's the table to show you what I'm talking about. While the pistol does less ballistic damage than the recoilless or spear, which is expected, it actually has the highest explosive damage out of the 3. Combined with the fact that it also has a slightly larger blast radius, the pistol is not half bad at dealing with bunched up enemies from afar, considering that it's an anti-tank weapon after all. It has the lowest penetration of the bunch at AP5, but having that and its 1000 ballistic damage is enough to make it usable against the vast majority of enemies and structures in the game. I don't think there's a secondary weapon that is as effective as the pistol at clearing objectives, especially from as far as 200 meters away. So in total, you've got a secondary weapon that has the utility and potential of some of the most powerful support weapons we have access to, that also doesn't take up a stratagem slot. On paper, this sounds very good, but how does it work in the field against each of the different factions? On the Terminate front, the pistol actually does pretty decently against the bugs. Both Brood and Alpha commanders can be easily one-shot by a direct hit to the head, and because its head is so big, it's a very easy target to hit. However, I find that the lock-on can sometimes strike its body instead, especially if you're firing at an off angle. This results in the commander taking a body shot that doesn't kill it immediately. They aren't super high priority targets, but they do make juicy targets to dispatch before they can summon more problems. The pistol can also easily one-shot bile spewers with any hit, making the guided attack a very easy way of popping them from a distance. This can be useful if you are getting bombarded by them and need to quickly take them out while staying on the move. When it comes to the bigger bugs, both chargers and behemoth chargers need 2 direct shots to the head. The breakpoint is actually really close to one-shotting the regular charger, leaving it with like 32 HP or something. Alternatively, you can one-shot their butts, which causes them to bleed out pretty quickly. This is the most efficient way of dealing with charges if you can spare the space, but with the recent bug or fix with them turning a lot quicker, this might pose a challenge if you're too far off because of the projectile travel time. On the other hand, the pistol can actually one-shot an impaler if you land it just right on its eyes when its faceplate is down. This is a very specific location and not getting a clean shot will require another follow-up or 2. For Bile Titans, landing 2 clean shots to its head will kill it easily. Just wait for them to stop moving, to puke, and you can easily blast it in the face. Spore Titans, however, will require 3 direct hits because it has 1000 HP more than the regular Bile Titan. Trying to bring down a single Spore Titan is a bit of a strain on your ammo, especially in the higher difficulties, and I wouldn't really recommend trying to take one down with a pistol alone. We'll explore some powerful loadout combos later where the pistol really acts as a support weapon in every sense of the word. While I don't have footage for the Dragon Roach, it technically also shares the same breakpoints as the Bile Titan. The problem is that it's flying, and you'll struggle to get a clean shot to its head from a distance away. So while the guided mode will allow for easier hits, it will automatically target for center mass, however, so you'll probably need in the ballpark of between 6 to 8 shots to bring it down. I haven't had the chance to test it out yet, but if you have, then do tell me in the comments. Now, for the Illuminate front. I think the pistol performs the worst against this faction. While it can technically one-shot all overseers to the head, it's not exactly an easy target to hit from afar, and if you're getting up close to land the shot anyway, you might as well take them out with your primary. The guided mode will sometimes aim for the head, which results in a nice one-shot every now and then, but the vast majority of the time you're hitting them in their chests, which is protected by armor. This usually keeps them alive from the first hit, but usually leaves them on the edge of death, so a few shots from your primary is likely to finish them off. Flesh mobs are probably one of the worst targets you can try to bring down purely with the pistol because they are so damn tanky. They have no weak spots, they have no fatal parts either. The best thing you can do is aim for its upper torso where its head or face is supposed to be, and even then it takes 3 shots. That's 75% of your total ammo to bring one of them down. The Harvester can technically be one-shot by the pistol, provided it doesn't have its shield up or you broke it beforehand, and it's not moving while giving you a clear shot to its hip joint. Then it's a very easy one-shot. If you don't meet these conditions, trying to aim at a very specific part of an enemy that is very tall and moves around a lot is going to be a hassle because the projectile speed for the pistol isn't exactly the fastest thing in the game. Hitting the Harvester anywhere else will take between 2 to 3 shots depending on where your hit lands. I don't have footage of using the pistol against the Stingray, but if it's anything like the gunships, then this weapon will do splendidly against them, capable of one-shotting no matter where it hits, thus making the guided mode really good at dealing with them. Lastly, against Veracitors and Gatekeepers, the pistol can take them out in 3 shots. 2 shots to break the shield and 1 directly to the pilot. This is easier said than done, and unless you've stun-locked the Veracitor or the Gatekeeper, they are likely to be blocking or moving around, making your shots more difficult to land. Like the Harvester, however, you can first bring down the shields protecting the pilot and then take out this pilot with the single shot. In my experience, it's usually not worth using the pistol alone to bring them down, but it will work in a pinch if you need to. Just make sure to target the exposed pilot and not the cockpit. Lastly, how does the pistol fare against the bot front? I think it performs best when battling against the clankers because there are so many opportunities for the weapon to shine in various ways. For starters, it can one-shot all Devastators as long as the projectile hits them in the torso. The main exception is of course the Heavy Devastator because the shield is in the way. The pistol can also one-shot Striders with a direct hit to the body, letting you easily take them out from afar with your guided mode. One of the most valuable targets the pistol can bring down in a single shot are Hawks if you can land the shot directly to its eye slot. However, failing that, or if you can't get a clear shot to its eye, you can also bring it down by blowing up the heatsink on its back in a single shot too. Gunships are also where this weapon excels, capable of bringing them down in a single shot anywhere to its body. The guided mode makes taking down groups of gunships easy, and because gunship patrols often come in numbers of 4, you can spend all of your pistol ammo to completely wipe out an otherwise dangerous threat pretty easily. War Striders can also be taken down in a single shot if you land a direct hit to its hip joint. Unlike the Squid Harvester, it's a lot easier to actually land the shot because the War Strider doesn't have a shield to break and it tends to stand still a lot when it's using its weapons. When it comes to tank busting, both the Annihilator and the Shredder tank can be easily destroyed with a single shot to the vents at the back of the turret. The only tank that is actually tanky against the pistol is the Barrage tank because it has no fatal weak spot. Instead, you can only bring it down with 2 shots to its engine bay at the back of the main body. Dropships are something the pistol can technically bring down in 2 shots to its thrusters. However, it is a very painful experience to try and do so, between the pistol's projectile travel time and the fact the dropships bob around and then flies away shortly. The slow reload of the pistol also doesn't help it here. Possible to bring down, but would not recommend. Finally, we have Factory Striders. The most realistic thing you can do to them is to break its cannon turret. 2 guided missiles will easily deal with the most dangerous weapon on it, which in terms of ammo to effectiveness is about as good as it gets. If you really need to bring down a Factory Strider and you only have your pistol, you're going to have to get real up close and personal to take it down. 3 shots to its eye slot, that's the small red glowing bit on its head, can do the trick. This attack has to be pinpoint because it is surrounded by armor which is much more tankier. You will sooner exhaust all your ammo before you can bring down a Factory Strider if you miss even a single shot to its eye slot. Alternatively, 4 shots to its underbelly will bring it down assuming you have both the ammo and time to reload and launch 4 missiles safely. I don't really recommend trying to kill a factory strider with the pistol in general, but it's good to know that you can if you have to. So as you can see from the breakpoints across all the factions, the pistol performs best against bots, does alright against the bugs, and struggles a great deal more against the squids. But there's actually more to its performance than just taking enemies out well. It's also very good at taking out objectives too. As an explosive weapon, it can take out bug holes and fabricators in one shot no problem. But the fact it can do this away from as far as 200 meters as long as you have the sightlines is just amazing. This is especially true for fabricators, which can be found mounted on top of hills. As long as you aim perfectly, which is aiming for the lower part of the vent since the missile has no drop, you can take them out in a single hit. This might take a little bit of practice to get just right, but once you're used to aiming at the vents from 100 meters away, picking off fabricators becomes a breeze. Since the pistol has AP5, you can actually destroy regular fabricators by blasting at the building itself. This does take 3 shots to accomplish and is definitely not an efficient use of your ammo. But if there is a lone fabricator in the distance that just needs to be dealt with to clear it, then it's an option you can count on. The high damage and AP5 of the pistol also makes it great at disarming bunkers and command centers. All of the smaller turrets can be destroyed in a single direct hit, don't even have to aim for the heat sinks at the back. The larger cannon turret, however, can only be taken down in one shot if you aim for the heatsink, similar to the tank. Illuminate grounded warp ships can also be taken out in a single shot to the front door if you've already broken the shield. While not as effective as termites, it does give you the opportunity to take them out from a good distance away. From this long list of breakpoints, we can see that the pistol is a very flexible weapon that brings a lot to a loadout. If I were to rank it in terms of standalone effectiveness against each of the factions, I would rank it S tier against the bot front, A tier against the bugs, and probably C tier or so against the squids. While this weapon on its own is strong, I find that it pairs very nicely as a follow-up to support the damage of your actual heavy weapons. Take for instance the Quasar Cannon. It sits next to the Eats in terms of damage and doesn't hit as hard as the Recoilless or Spear. So for dealing with really chunky health pools like the Spore Titan, it's going to take 2 Quasar hits to bring it down. However, if you have the Pissile, it makes for a great following shot right after you hit it with the Quasar to deal the killing blow, saving you from waiting 15 seconds to get your Quasar back up and then another 3 seconds to aim again. You can also run this with the Eats or the Commando, giving you that bit of extra firepower to bring down a target without having to use a second shot. But there's more. If you pair this with the supply pack, you are essentially running a mini recoilless or spear with a total ammo capacity of 12. Because having a supply pack lets you double dip whenever you take a resupply brick, you can fully restore your pistol's ammo reserves to full from picking up and using a single resupply brick. This gives you the ability to besiege an area with guided and unguided missiles if you have a resupply pod next to you that you can double dip from. Ever since I unlocked this weapon, it has not left my secondary slot. Every time I try to think about playing with something else, I think about all the potential and utility I'm losing out on by not having it. I guess that is a testament to just how good of a weapon the pistol actually is. So if there's any reason to get the Exo Experts Warbond, my money would be on getting the pistol. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one, Helldivers.